Good morning, everybody. Here I am with two very well-known members of New Horizons band, with Sue-Ann and Noel Champion. And I'm here this morning to find out a little bit about their involvement with the band. So good morning, both of you.
Good morning, Sue. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mrs. Carter. So I'll start with you first, Sue-Ann. How long have you been playing with New Horizons band?
Probably about 3 or 4 years. I've had kind of stopped and started a bit with work and things like that, but about that time.
Right. And what about you, Noel?
Well, Sue-Ann started before I did, but I retired at the end of 2018. So I thought, hey, this will be a bit of fun. I could see what was going on there. So 2 years I've been playing with them now, 2 and a bit, because I started at the beginning of 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but memorable start too with that one.
When I retired, I thought, woohoo, I've got spare time.
Travel. Yeah.
It's all full now. I've got no more spare time.
No more spare time. That happens. Yeah. So how did you hear about the band?
Well, actually I heard about it from John and Carol when they came back from the US, and we're very excited about some things they saw over there, meetings they had, and we were at a lunch with them, and they said, oh, what do you guys think about, would something like this take off? And that's where I first heard about it. And then obviously I was busy and at work, and
right.
Sue-Ann went to it, and that's when I really found out about what it was all about, was through Sue-Ann.
Right. So one of the foundation members.
No, not initially. I was working initially.
Right.
But then I went to a concert that New Horizons put on before the air conditioning, and it was really really hot day. So I opened up the PCYC club so they could have their concert in that space. And when I went to the concert, I kind of thought, saw all the encouragement that everyone was giving each other. I thought, oh, I love these people, I've got to join this group. So I changed all my work days as much as I could so I could get
good
there.
For you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what instruments do you play then, Sue?
So I've played a flute for quite a while, and I was playing that in group 3, but my latest challenge is trombone, which I've been playing for a couple of years.
Right.
And in another band I also play bit of timpani and a bit of percussion in another band as well.
Wow, very versatile. And did you play as a child?
I started playing flute when I was young.
Right. And what about you, Noel? So what instrument do you play?
Well, in New Horizons, I play the bassoon. So when I retired, I thought, well, the New Horizons is about learning new instruments and getting experience, and I thought, it's an instrument I would never have an opportunity to play anywhere else because I'd never get up to a standard that I could play So I grabbed the bassoon and been playing that. Before the bassoon, I mainly have been playing saxophones. The baritone sax is my favourite go-to instrument. I really enjoy playing that. But it's the bassoon I've been playing for 2 years now in New Horizons.
Right.
And I've got about another 22 years to go on top of it.
Yes, I'm encouraged by my music teacher. You'll never master this instrument. I could have told her that. So did you play as a child?
Yes, I did. I was wonderful opportunity that came up with the police youth clubs, and my father was very heavily involved in the police youth club at Sutherland. In fact, he built the youth club that's now located at Sutherland, and in that I did pretty well every activity that was in that club. It was, I did the boxing, I did the wrestling, and they decided to start a band, and the police, a guy by the name of Jack Williams came from the police band, and he commenced a band. So my brother and I were the foundation members there. We both walked in, we were the band, and he had one cornet. So we shared the cornet until one day Jack walked in with a clarinet and said, there you go, Noel, you're playing clarinet. So I started learning a little bit off Jack Williams until then things changed and the police got pulled out of that. And unfortunately, I never got lessons after that. So I had myself. But the music scene was different back then. There was nothing really in the schools. There was nowhere much else to play other than if you could find a band. So yeah, so I've been playing since I was probably about 9 years of age.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So how many instruments do you play now?
I'm well, not many. I can fiddle around on the clarinet. I've had a go. I've got the saxophones. I don't play the trumpets anymore. Brass I've sort of left behind, so I don't do that. I had a bit of a fiddle with a flute, but I was using Sue-Ann's, and I thought that wasn't fair. So really, I only play the clarinet, the bassoon, and the saxophones. And I've got some, bass guitar and a rhythm guitar, but I'm not very good on them.
Right. Do you have a dedicated music room?
We've got a room that we set up for our music. Yes, yeah, we have. But that's all part of. We're moving rooms around the house now. What do you try and do? You take the kids' rooms and turn them into bathrooms, so no one can't come back.
Yes, indeed. So, did you play as a child, Sue-Ann?
Yeah, I played my flute from all through high school.
Right.
Then I didn't pick all the other instruments up until only about 5 years ago.
Right.
So, yeah, mainly flute.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, what does music mean to you, Sue-Ann?
Oh, well, it's a big part of our life because of all the bands that we belong to and concerts and everything we go to. But it adds a whole dimension to your life. It kind of inspires you to, kind of motivates you and inspires you and relaxes you, just emotionally, and it's a big part of our life. It's hard to put into words. Yeah, means a lot.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And what about you, Noel?
I just love music. It's all genres of music. I'll listen to just about anything. I'll listen to everything, whether I like it or not. It's another thing. But I don't study music. I'm not an aficionado. I don't know all of the ins and outs of music. I just like to listen to it. And the big one for me is live bands. If you can go and see a live band, that's where it's at. Go and find a band playing in a pub or something. The closer you can get to them, the better.
See that sweat.
See that sweat. See them working hard where you're sitting back having a beer going, yeah, come on, get that note now.
So, I mean, you both love music, and you've obviously both lived in this area. Have your paths crossed early through music?
Yeah. We met through a concert band.
Oh, wow.
The one that Noel started in when he was about 8 or 9.
Oh.
Yeah, I started.
That's a very, very early relationship.
We just kind of knew each other from early on, and then we started going out once Noel.
Well, we were probably about 14.
When we knew each other.
Yeah.
Noel had finished his HSC, and he kind of thought, okay, I think time for a girlfriend now. My studies are over.
That's sweet.
And picked me, and we went out from then, and we've been together ever since. So,
Fantastic.
So that was a long time ago.
Yes. Oh, you've demonstrated how important music is to you. If it brought the two of you together, which is lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, big part of your lives.
It is a big part of our life.
What about your favourite musical experience outside the band, Sue-Ann?
Outside the band. First thing that pops in my head is I was lucky enough to be part of the Sydney Philharmonic Christmas Choir, where you join in with the Sydney Philharmonic choirs and orchestras, and we sung Handel's Messiah at the Opera House, and it was really hard. It was we had to learn it all by heart, and singing's doesn't come naturally, but I love to sing, so I learned it all by heart and sung it at the Opera House, and it was a big buzz.
Huge achievement.
Really big buzz.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think you'll do it again?
I'd love to do it again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully, COVID might settle down and we can sing in big choirs again.
Yes.
But yeah, it just made you feel so good singing with other people. It's was lovely. It was really lovely.
Especially if you've learnt such a large score.
To be able
to do
it's
it
a
again.
really thick book.
Right.
And I mean, there were soloists. We didn't sing, but there was quite a lot of singing
Fabulous.
that we had to do. Yeah.
Right. And Noel, what about you? Favourite outside the band?
Well, I've been so lucky. I've had so many musical experiences. There's some that have been quite emotional. We did the Welcome Home March to the Vietnam vets in 1987, and that was very emotional to be a part of that. Other ones are fairly unique. I was a member of a jazz band that played on a 747 that flew down over the Antarctic, over the South Pole on New Year's Eve. That was the first flights after the tragedy of Air New Zealand flying into Mount Erebus.
Yeah.
So that was the start of that, and that was an unbelievable experience to have. But one of my most proudest and one that will stick with me for a long time is that Wollongong Conservatorium of Music was taking a band over to the US for a competition, a jazz competition, and they were looking for a trombone player and they were looking for a bari sax player, and one of the people associated with the band sort of went, well, we know where both of those are, because my eldest son is quite a good trombone player. At that stage he was probably about 16, and so we went down and they said, yeah, beauty, can you guys come along with us? So we flew over to the US. We went to San Francisco and Reno and had played in competitions there. And it was actually interesting to see that we'd actually brought a unique style of jazz that the Americans weren't hearing. And it wasn't me that was bringing them; it was the young kids who were performing. We got to play with in jazz venues like the Biscuits and Blues, and in California with Bobby Shue, trumpet player Bobby Shue, and while we were playing there, we brought him to tears when he heard what these kids could do. And for me it was great because I was a generation older, and we still could all talk. We all had the same language. We all went into the music shops, bought records, compared what we bought. It was great.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and to be doing that with your son.
Yeah,
really
very special. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And what about your favourite musical experience with the band?
I just like the social side. The doing the tours is great. Everybody just has so much fun. The band itself is just a ball, and everybody's learning together.
Yes,
and I love that experience that we're all making the mistakes. Later on, a few months down the track, how much better it sounds because we've solved those mistakes and we're playing. I just love it.
Yes. I think it's important for mental health apart from anything else.
Yeah,
the social
absolutely.
side as well.
Yeah.
And Sue-Ann, your favourite experience with the band?
I just love the way when we do a concert and someone's brave enough to get up and do a solo, and everybody listens attentively and claps and cheers and encourages them along. Even if they have a bit of a false start, they encourage them to keep going. And then also at the concerts, when we're all playing, we get to the end of a piece and we haven't done a major stuff up, and we all sigh and relax and smile at each other and feel really good about that. So they're my two favourite things about the band.
Yes. Oh, the social side and the... So what's your greatest challenge then with the band?
Probably learning bass clef is a challenge for me. I've played treble clef all my life, so bass clef just, I still haven't got it. I still have to work on that. It's a bit of a challenge for me. And same as everybody, finding time to practice.
Yes. And your greatest challenges?
That bassoon. it's a massive challenge for me, which is great. That's what I wanted. I listen to people who know how to play it, the symphony type people, and I'm fascinated at how well they can make these things sound.
Right.
And so that's my greatest challenge. But that's what it's about. Take on the challenge and have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need those in life.
Yeah.
The benefits, of course, would be the social side of New Horizons.
Well, meeting each other.
Meeting each other, absolutely.
Yeah, and the social side
Yes,
of New Horizons.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I just love that group of people. It's
Yes.
just full of interesting people, and everyone's just so welcoming and encouraging and supportive. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
I think any of those community interests have that same feeling that it doesn't matter who you are, but if you love that particular interest. I've been involved with amateur theatre groups, and the same sort of thing there. You just get a lot of oddballs and sods all from around the community that just want to get up on a stage or be involved in producing a play. So, and of course, I mean, as a couple too, it's something that you share, which is just
which is great.
A huge bonus.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
that is
yes.
nice.
Yeah.
So, do you both stay in the house when the other practices, or do you join in?
We've got a backyard and we've got places we can walk to. Actually, we don't normally join in.
Right.
We let each other just go about their own thing, because often you need to be practicing something different.
That's one phrase.
Something one person can't do, the other one can, and vice versa.
Right.
So, and also it's when you actually sort of slot a bit of time in to do it. You know, so,
around everything else.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So what about life beyond or before the band? What was your interest there, Sue-Ann?
Okay, well, life before the band. So I've done office work, and I've worked in preschools, and now I work at Engadine Music, which I really love. And some of my other things that I do, I've researched all my family history, right back to the early 1800s.
Fabulous.
Which is quite interesting. A few funny stories there. Well, not funny stories, but dramatic stories about murders and things like that. So,
very rich history.
So that's kind of keeps me busy if I get any time to do that.
Oh, it's very absorbing.
Yeah,
Once you're
mainly in winter, when you can't get a bit of time in winter to do.
When you're on a thread of one person, trying to track some information down, it can get very frustrating.
Yes. And we're also learning, just dabbling in learning a little bit of French, and I was learning a bit of Italian, just to keep our brains active. And,
That's interesting. But as a couple, then you won't be able to talk to each other.
Oh, we do. You get up and I say good morning. Good morning in French, and Noel replies in Italian, and we just make it up as we go.
Oh, that's lovely. And what about you, Noel? Do you have a life before music?
Oh, amazingly, I probably did. My profession is I'm an engineer, so work used to take up a lot of my time for pretty well most of my life until I retired a couple of years ago. But I started off, as I said, we were heavily involved with the Police Youth Club, and they had a mini bike club start up. Once again, we went, well, beauty. So I jumped on a mini bike when I was about 10 years of age, and I've been riding motorbikes ever since. So I did a bit of competition with the mini bikes, but mainly that's a social thing with friends, and we'll go for trips for weekends or a week away. We did a lap around Australia, so we rode around Australia for 7 weeks on the bikes. So the motorcycling, big part of it. Never been without a motorbike since we had the mini bikes. And because I like tinkering, I've got an old MG down in the garage there, a 50-year-old MG sports car, and I just tinker with that, and that's a bit of fun. That's just to go driving around and enjoy the either fixing it or driving it.
Right.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So I don't compete with it. Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered nearly everything about your lives here. Sorry, something you wanted to add?
I was just I'm not sure if we talked about our favourite composers.
I'm sorry, no, we didn't. I slipped over that.
I'd love to tell you about that.
Yes, please.
I love loud, dramatic classical music is my favourite of all, and also like Dvorak, Mussorgsky.
Very loud.
Yeah.
Very, very loud.
And also some of the music from the movies, like Hans Zimmer, and one of my favourite composers in Australia, Nigel Westlake. He's written some beautiful music for the screen with Beatrice Potter, and also he wrote some for a big 3D Antarctica thing, and the Antarctica Suite's got there's a penguin ballet that's probably one of my favourite pieces of music.
Right.
Yeah.
Not Happy Feet.
No. It's a lovely piece of music.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you mentioned that. That'll gives Jenny something to research for you.
Yeah.
And Noel, you're pretty general.
I'm very general. I just love music. Sue-Ann knows all about the music. I ask her, what's that piece? And she'll tell me that I know because I've played it. And I go, yeah, I can't remember. I just know that I like it, and I like, very general music.
Fantastic.
Going and seeing the live bands and them.
Yeah, live music.
Yeah.
Great. Lovely. All right. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you, Sue. That was great.
Thanks for being kind.
Well, no. Well, that's it for us here at the Champions home. And see you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Looking forward to it.
Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.